Hi, this is Monica from Unique Designs by Monica, and today we are doing the grill. Yes, the infamous grill. I'm sure you guys have seen something similar online all over the place, considering it is summertime. So, of course, people are doing barbecues, making invitations, and, bringing people over. Not only that, but June is probably one of the biggest times that, you know, meat has been smoked, and I want to say elotes, or corn is being grilled. So, in honor of all that, I am making an SVG grill using nothing more than basic shapes on Silhouette Studio, which is the basic, the standard, the free version. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to be ending up with. I'm going to set that aside. And these are the shapes that we're going to be using to create this. Okay, so let's start with the top and the middle. We are going to make ourselves a circle. It can be any size circle, big, small. This is your project. I'm just going to, grab a circle and make it to the size that I want. And that's pretty much what I want right there. Let's color it so we can see what we're doing. Good, good. I'm going to grab the knife tool and I'm going just to slice right about here. No, let's make it a little lower yet. That seems about right. And then I'm just going to make another slice. Let's see, right about here. No rhyme, no reason. It's just making a slice. You know what? Let me make a couple of slices just to see where I want this to be. Yep, that's a lot better. Okay. So I'm going to remove this section and this section. And as you can see, we already have what we're looking for. Now, this dome is a little more egg shape, but then again, there are egg shaped grills out there, but I want to make this a little flatter, more like a hamburger shape. And I'm just going to take it down. There we go. Looks more like a hamburger now. Now, to get the middle portion here, all I did was just pull it up a little bit, like that. So you can see what I did right there. And now I'm going to make, let's see if I can make this a little smaller so I can see what I'm doing here. It's getting blocked by this. All right. I'm going to do my little wings here for the top of the what do you call the top of the grill? The dome of the grill? I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, I'm using the rounded rectangle, and all I'm going to do is just, try to figure out where my middle is. And I don't actually need to worry because right here I can highlight everything. Make sure that is in the middle. Good. Let's get a little closer. See how far down we want to go. Make that black. Bring it down like that. All right. Let's see. Did I do anything different? No, I just left it like that. So all I'm going to do is just weld. And there we go. We got our ends. So let's get the handle portion of this little dome. And I'm sure people are out there like, it's called a blank. It's called a blank. I'm sure it is. I just don't know what it's called. So I just grabbed myself a little rectangle here and elongate it. I'm going to make that turn black. And I'm going to duplicate it. Now, generally, you can just cut and paste to duplicate it. But once you do that, you see how it just goes diagonally like that? I'm not a big fan. I wanted to go sideways and be even. So I'm going to go over here to this replicate panel. And then I'm just going to go to the left. To the left, to the left. And I'm just going to use my shift key and spread it out right about there. Okay. And I'm going to just grab these and put it right there. You know what? Let's make these little This little section's a little smaller. And I'm going to group it because I'm going to take the whole thing and make sure that this is in the middle. Okay. Now that I have that, I'm going to weld. There you go. Now I'm going to go right back to the rounded rectangle. And all I'm going to do is just get a nice handle, little fat handle there. Going to turn it black also. Make sure that this is in the middle. Now that looks a little too thick for my taste. So I don't mind the way it looks. I think it looks fine, but I need to make it less thick and a little less long. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's weld the top. There we go. So far, so good. You know what? I think this is a little too high. Yeah, this is a little too high. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit. And you can do that. If you think that your handle's too high or too short, you can always adjust it. That looks much better. Everything that I'm doing here is just eyeballing it. And with every SVG, that's basically how it goes. You're just eyeballing it to make it look like what you think it is. And what I think it looks like a grill. Let's see. What do we need next? Oh, we need this guy right here. So I'm going to go right back to my rectangle tool. And I'm just going to elongate. No specific length, just enough for my eye to be pleasing. And I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. And that's going to be the legs of my grill. Do I want it a little thicker? Yeah, I think I want it just a smidge thicker. Now, I'm going to duplicate it again. And it's going to go to the same direction. But this time I'm going to flip it horizontally. Then just move it. I'm just holding down the shift key and then moving my arrow key. Okay. Does that look pretty good? You know what? Let me group it. And I want to make sure that this is in the middle also. Yep. I was just a smidge off. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to weld this. There we go. So far, so good. And you know what I missed? Because of the circle, I could have cut it again and made it even smaller. So because I forgot to do that, I'm just going to do it all over again. Just a little smaller. Black. Turn it black. Get my knife. And I'm just going to pick a section here. Alright. That looks pretty good. You know what? I need to make it just a slightly bit thicker. And then elongate it. Not too shabby. Just to make sure we have everything in the middle. There we go. Not too bad. Okay, let's just move this up a little bit. Alright. Oh, and I moved it. Here we go. Now we can do weld. Alright, so far so good. Let's get the wheels on this thing so we can move it around in our little SVG mine here. So we're going to need another rectangle, which is this one right here. And all I'm going to do is just pick a length. Doesn't matter what type of length. Just one that I feel comfortable adding. Kind of feel like Bob Ross for the SVG world. Have happy little accidents. There is no wrong way to make an SVG. You can always backpedal. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's make it a little thinner. I think this looks a little too thick, and move it down just a bit. Now, we're going to use the rounded rectangle tool again. Now, if you want this to look more like a tire, because I use this one right here, which is not bad, but you can You see these little two red dots? Let's get a little closer here. You see these two little dots right here? If you want it to be more tire-like, you can always move it back and forth. And this gives you more of a cylinder square situation. That looks pretty good. I like that. And then all I'm gonna do, I want to make sure that I have this in the center. So I'm gonna go right back over here and go to this middle tool. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm gonna go over here to this little replicant tool again. And I'm gonna just move it on over. Keep going. Almost there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so all I'm going to do is highlight both ends and weld. Now, just to make sure it's still in the middle, I'm going to put it right in the center. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so we got the majority of our grill going. Now let's weld everything. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, just to get the heat going through it, let's make this little wave. And all I really did was use the rounded rectangle tool again. And I started making different sizes. And each time going a little bit bigger. Yep. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to do black again. Actually, let's do white so you can actually see it over here. Now, this is not in the center, so what I'm going to do, now there we go. And just to get rid of these little red dots, I'm going to make it into a compound path. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to duplicate it again, moving it sideways and then flipping it horizontally. And then that's it. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, it looks a little too big. So what I'm going to do is just going to grab one end, grab another end, and I think it's a little too far apart, so let's bring that together just about there. Now, let's group each side, and of course, we're going to make sure that this is aligned in the middle. Now, you have two ways of doing this. You could make this into a compound path, or you can cut it more like a hole punch kind of way. So I'm going to go over here to modified panel, and if you use subtract all, I click the button and it looks like I didn't do anything. But if you remove just this, it gives you the indent. Now let's see a different way of doing that. Okay, I moved it, so let's put this right back in the middle. I'm going to highlight it and make it into a compound path. Same thing, one makes the image disappear, the other one cuts it out kind of like a hole puncher. Alright, since everything is outlined in red, and you know me, I don't like seeing my lines, I'm going to go over here to the line style panel, go to this little box over here, line color, and then remove. You see this little standard one? I just clicked on that and it removes all the lines. I don't see the red on there like I see right here. And that's it. That took what? About 14 minutes? You got yourself a brand new SVG. You can slap it on a t-shirt, on a mug, on a card for an invitation, whatever you want to do with it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you very much. Have a good one.